Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week is packed with major shifts. We have a new moon in Pisces, symbolizing new beginnings. Venus is going retrograde, and a number of Mercury transits are shifting our mindset, our intuition, and our sense of direction. Plus, Mars is finally moving direct, bringing renewed energy and motivation. Stay until the end of this video because each of these transits builds on top of the other, bringing profound shifts to the way that we think, act, and feel. First, let's talk about the good news of the week. Mars is finally going direct again. Mars has been retrograde since December last year, and when Mars is retrograde, our energy and our motivation tends to diminish. It becomes a lot more difficult to push forward, and our energy levels also tend to fluctuate and be quite inconsistent. Have you noticed that some days you feel super driven, you are ready to take on the world, and then the very next day all of that energy is gone and even the most simple basic tasks feel overwhelming and like they're way too much? Well, that's actually a feature of Mars in Cancer, because when Mars is in Cancer, our energy levels and our ego is tied to our emotions, and we know that emotions do tend to fluctuate a lot, even in a single day. This isn't actually going to change until Mars moves into Leo, but with Mars being direct again now, we've got a sense of forward momentum and we can expect a lot more ups than downs. So if you've been stuck in a loop with certain emotions, whether that's frustration or anger, this is your chance to finally break free from that. You might notice that certain emotions that have been bottled up now have the opportunity to break free, especially things like anger, frustration, or even passion. And because they've been bottled up for a while, they can come up in very unexpected, even explosive ways. The best way to deal with that energy is to find healthy outlets for all of it. This could be exercise, this could be cleaning your home, or just having a direct, honest conversation where you get to truly express how you feel. This is also the perfect time to get back to any projects that you've been putting off. My tip is to start small, because that sense of accomplishment that you get from ticking off a task that has been there for ages is going to be the fuel that you need to move on to the larger and maybe a little bit more intimidating tasks. On Tuesday, then Mercury, the planet of thoughts and communication, meets Saturn, the planet of authority and discipline and reality checks. This is when things start to get serious. There's no more putting things off, avoiding responsibilities, or making excuses. And since this is happening in Pisces, the goal of this transit is to bring us more clarity and more structure to our dreams, our intuitions, and any subconscious patterns that we might exhibit. So if you've just been kind of drifting through your goals or struggling with clarity, this transit is going to give you that grounded approach that you need to really take stock and look at what's working and what's not. Conversations might become a lot more stern or blunt or direct because Saturn doesn't sugarcoat things. We might all receive a bit of tough love, whether that's from ourselves, from people around us, or just from life due to the nature of the events that are taking place around this time. The upside of all this is that these two energies combined are fantastic for focus and mental clarity. So if you've been feeling lost or just overwhelmed in a sea of possibilities, then this is going to be a perfect time to really take stock of what's working and make decisions based on a sense of realism and pragmatism. My tip here is to take a moment and to review the goals that you set for yourself at the beginning of the year. How are you doing? Are you making progress? What's working? What needs to be changed? What needs to be revised? And because Mars has now gone direct, you're actually going to have the energy that you need to follow through on these adjusted new goals. Then the biggest event of this coming week is going to be the new moon in Pisces between Thursday and Friday. This is going to be a very spiritually charged time. We're going to be very connected to our intuition and to the unseen realms. Pisces energy dissolves boundaries, so the veil is becoming thinner. And that makes it a very potent time for manifestation, for visualization, and for any form of emotional healing. The new moon gets a boost with the trine from Mars, again giving us that energy to actually follow through on the steps we need to take to achieve our dreams. But it does also square Jupiter in Gemini, so we might need to sacrifice certain personal freedoms, at least temporarily, in order to move closer towards our dreams. This is an ideal time for practices like inner child healing, shadow work, past life regressions, or deep meditation. One of my favorite ways to make the most of this powerful manifestation energy is with a visualization meditation. And here is how you do that. First and most important step of this is to become very, very clear on your goals. Think no holds barred, anything is possible, dream big. The only rule here is that it has to be something that you actually want. Not that the people around you want or that society wants for you. It's what you truly, truly want. And maybe you already know that. Maybe you already have practices that have helped you gain clarity on that. If not, take a little bit of time to journal on that and to get your thoughts out into paper to help. Then go get yourself into a quiet room where you're not going to be disturbed. You might want to play some meditation music, or maybe not, and get yourself comfortable. Not so comfortable that you're going to fall asleep, but even if that does happen, then it's fine, it's not a problem. Then close your eyes and go into that future where you have already achieved your dream. You want to use all 5 senses. So what can you see? What can you see in your immediate environment up close? What can you see in the distance? What can you hear? What are the ambient sounds? What are people saying to you or about you? What can you feel? What do the clothes feel like on your body? What does the air feel like on your skin? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it moving? What can you smell? Maybe it's the smell of new leather from your new car. Maybe it's freshly brewed coffee from the coffee shop that you're working in. And what can you taste? So make this as vivid as you possibly can and make sure you utilize all of your senses, putting yourself into the middle of that all-around 360-degree vision. Enjoy that for a while, have fun with it. And then when you're nearing the end of your meditation, the final step will be to connect to your higher self. Perhaps this is something that you're already doing and you don't need extra guidance. If you don't really know how to connect with your higher self, it can be something as simple as just thinking in your mind, hello higher self, I would like to talk to you. And then pay attention because you may feel a subtle shift. You might feel a certain warmth, you might feel a sense of expansiveness or of safety. That's how you know you've arrived. And really the language that we use in these things, it doesn't have to be this elaborate, mystical sounding, poetic language. Really simple words are plenty. They work just as well, if not better. And then you want to ask your higher self, well, what is one step that I can take now that will take me closer towards that vision that I just held in my mind? And then pay attention to the first thing that comes in, the first kind of insight, the first thought that enters your mind. And you don't want to second guess yourself. You don't want to overthink it too much. Usually it's the first thing, sometimes the second one if they kind of build on top of another. Write that down before you get a chance to talk yourself out of it. And then you want to take action on that as soon as you can. Ideally within the next 24 hours while the new moon energy is still going strong. Even if you don't finish it in the next 24 hours, at least take that first step and initiate it and start it. I have tried so many different manifestation techniques, and a simple visualization meditation using all of your senses is still one of the most powerful techniques that I have found to turn that vision, to turn that dream into your real physical experience. On Saturday, then Mercury conjuncts the North Node, which symbolizes our destiny and our path in life. This transit can often bring sudden clarity about the path we're supposed to take in life. And it will especially do so if you have taken some time during the new moon to formalize a vision of where you want to go. So on Saturday, really pay close attention to any signs, any synchronicities. There will be no coincidences and any of those spontaneous aha kind of moments. The North Node does tend to pull us out of our comfort zone, so there may be a sense of like nervous anticipation associated with that. If you do get a sudden insight about where you are going in life and it's an overall positive vision, but it gives you these kind of butterflies in your stomach and it makes you feel a little bit nervous, that's usually a sign that you're on the right track. A very positive way to use that energy is to talk things through with other people. But we do want to be careful who we talk to, because your destiny, your potential, it's this huge, beautiful, but huge and sometimes overwhelming things. And if we share it with somebody who doesn't like change, even if they love us to pieces, they might end up actually discouraging and demotivating us, because that is their way of trying to keep us safe and trying to keep us achieving this very, very big, huge, and to them, scary potential. So instead, seek guidance from somebody who inspires you. This could be a mentor, or if you don't have a mentor at the moment, maybe this could be a great time to start searching for a mentor. Or it could be a friend who's further along their path than you and maybe has already overcome some of the obstacles that you're currently being faced with. Or maybe it's just somebody who inspires you and you take some time to read their book or listen to a podcast episode that they've appeared in. And then on Sunday, Venus stations retrograde, and this kicks off a major reassessment of themes such as love, money, beauty, and self-worth. This retrograde will last for over a month until April the 13th. And Venus retrogrades do tend to bring up either old relationships or old relationship patterns that haven't fully been resolved yet. In Aries, this retrograde will amplify themes of self-assertion and independence. There will be a desire to break free from anything that feels restrictive or like it impinges on our freedom, especially in relationships. Self-confidence might start varying and going up and down a little bit, where some days you will feel totally self-empowered, while other days self-doubt will start creeping in, especially if our ego starts to clash then with the ego of others. A few things that you want to keep in mind during Venus retrograde. 1, take your time with any major relationship decisions. That doesn't mean that you can't take your relationship to the next level or maybe even end a relationship. You just don't want to be impulsive about this. You want to take your time. Also, you may notice that an ex suddenly finds their way back into your life. And you want to be really careful not to see this past relationship through rose-tinted glasses, which we tend to do anyway, but it's going to be amplified even further with Venus being retrograde. So just, again, take your time so that you can tell the difference between what is nostalgia and what is actually a genuine desire to rekindle a past relationship. Secondly, another thing that you want to just take your time with are any permanent changes to your appearance and any major big ticket purchases. Again, doesn't mean you can't do them, but you don't want to be impulsive with these things, because what seems like a great idea now may not seem like such a great idea once Venus moves direct again. And finally, this is a time where we really need to work on our self-value. External validation isn't something that we want to rely on anyway, as it is, but when Venus is in retrograde, it's going to be extremely hard to come by. So we're really going to depend on our own sense of self-worth. And if you find that you keep getting into situations that make you think, why does this keep happening to me? Then I would really encourage you to take a step back. Look at what led to this situation and consider whether you are settling for less than what you are actually truly worth. By the end of this retrograde, we will gain closure and we will gain a much clearer sense of what aligns with our heart and with our values. So this week is all about emotional resets, deep intuition, and taking steps towards our truest path. The new moon in Pisces is our biggest opportunity to dream big, to manifest big. And then the Venus retrograde challenges us to truly consider what we want out of our love and out of our life. So comment down below, which of these transits are you feeling the most right now? Are you setting any intentions for the new moon? And as always, please do like this video and subscribe so that you can stay up to date with all of the cosmic shifts ahead.